Hello and welcome to Beyond the Dashboard, your guide to understanding the world of key performance indicators. I'm your host, Steve Taylor, and each episode will be demystifying a new KPI, diving deep into its significance, debunking myths, and offering actionable steps for improvement. Whether you're leading a small or large MSP, or maybe just a brilliant technician looking to level up your business management skills, this is the place for you. So sit back, tune in, and get ready to go beyond the surface, beyond the complexity, and truly understand what lies beyond the dashboard. My guest today is Vince Crisler, Chief Strategy Officer at Celerium. Celerium powers active cyber defense solutions to help protect organizations and communities from increasing cyber attacks. Vince has more than 20 years of IT and cybersecurity leadership within the various government organizations, including as a former White House CISO. Now he works in the private sector. Take it away, Vince.
If folks don't know my background, I started Dark Cubed, which was a cybersecurity SaaS company. We grew really fast, added a lot of customers, did a lot of great things for our customers. And cost of customer acquisition was one of those key metrics that really helped us track what was going on. And I think for both product vendors and managed service providers out there, if you're not tracking this as a key metric, you should be. To start at the beginning, cost of customer acquisition, or CAC, goes into what does it cost you to acquire a customer? And so that includes marketing, it includes onboarding help, kind of everything that it takes to get a customer on board. So if you're a product company, what does it take to get somebody to sign up for a demo? What does it cost to give that demo? If you do a trial, what's the cost in that trial? What's the cost of signing somebody up for a full license and moving forward? If you're a managed service provider, it's a little bit different. How do you acquire your customers? Where do you find them? Do you spend marketing dollars? Do you go to Chamber of Commerce? Do you put Facebook ads up? And so the basic way to calculate this is what did you spend at these areas and how many customers did you acquire? And that's kind of the broad way. And then as you get more focused, you can actually divide that up by customer segments or channels that you acquired folks through. To me, it comes down to, what does it cost you to add one customer? If you're targeting a lot of smaller customers, you may not know exactly the path that each one took. But if you're acquiring customers through different channels and you're able to track that, you can understand the cost of customer acquisition through Facebook versus LinkedIn versus trade shows. For us, it's more, we have a couple different channels. We have the MSP channel. We do some work in government. We do some work in state and local. So it's really tracking it per channel. But tools like HubSpot are really important in that. But ultimately, at the end of the day, it's you take all these sources in and you can use a software package to do metrics for you, or you can put it in an Excel spreadsheet and track it. And it's not something that, in theory, it doesn't change daily. But as a CEO, I would track this monthly to say, hey, what are our customer acquisition costs this month? And why is it going up or why is it going down?
How often would you say you guys check the CAC report?
Once a month.
How do you review it?
The last trailing 12 to 18 months, depending on your business and how much that is changing. What's important with customer acquisition cost is the kind of accompanying metric of lifetime value. So what is the lifetime value of a customer? So if you're an MSP, and you're signing on a customer for $1,500 a month, how many months do you expect your standard customer to stick around? Right? Is it 18 months? Is it 36 months? Is it 60 months? And so as an executive, and this is where the CAC value becomes really important, you want your CAC value to be 3 to 5, a variable 3 to 5 of your lifetime value. Right? So if your lifetime value of a customer is $120,000, and your cost of customer acquisition is $40,000, then you're in a pretty good spot, kind of when you're like SaaS and product sales. But for an MSP, and the reason I love this metric is I think early on as a CEO, I would look at shows and speaking opportunities, and I'd be like, they want me to spend 10 grand to go to the show. I have so many better ways to spend 10 grand than going to a show. I had brought on a new marketing head, Jeff Hill. He's over at Track now, and he lived by CAC religiously. And he would counter. He said, look, I know that feels like a lot of money, but if our CAC is $1,000 per customer and we come out of that show with at least 10 customers, then it makes sense, right? It's worth it. And so we're going to track every show, every event, all of our marketing spend. And while this may to you, if you're being stingy, feel expensive, it's actually effective. And so I think that's where MSPs sometimes, a lot of MSPs, a lot of us are pretty technical and we don't like spending money where in some of these soft areas, let's say sponsoring the local Chamber of Commerce, you spend $750 to join the Chamber of Commerce and you get 5 customers out of it. Right? That's a pretty good investment. You get one customer out of it. Well, maybe that's a good investment. It depends on what they're paying you. You get 0 customers out of it. Maybe that's not a great thing to spend your money on. And so really understanding how you're spending your marketing, your sales dollars, and how that applies to attracting customers really will help drive the profitability and growth of your company. Yeah, and if you're attracting, say, and this is where the kind of the really fun stuff comes in. If you're attracting really small customers, through your Chamber of Commerce and other things, versus if you spent 10 times more and got a customer that was worth 15 times more, what does that do for your business? And so understanding those levers you can pull and being willing to experiment. If you go into one of these things knowing, hey, I know our cost of customer acquisition is X. And so if I go into this really expensive event, I need to pick up a couple high-end clients. And if I do, money well spent, I need to keep doing this. If I don't, well, okay, I need to figure out why I didn't attract customers.
Did you know RocketMSP has a weekly newsletter? Sign up for free at rocketmsp.io today. Your information is never shared with third parties.
So when it comes to comparing CAC and lifetime value, right, because you kind of want to look at these things together. If it's going upward, which means your cost of customer acquisition is increasing, it means, maybe your marketing and PR is becoming less effective. Maybe the market is becoming more saturated, and you need to think about different ways to engage potential customers. Your spend to attract customers is becoming less effective. If that is kind of staying flat, it probably means you're in a pretty good sweet spot and you're kind of growing your business and doing the right things. If it's going the other way, so, your cost of customer acquisition is dropping rapidly and your customer base is growing, well, that's a good thing, but you could probably spend more and attract more customers. And so if you want to put your foot on the gas there, then maybe that's something you want to think about, because you're acquiring customers for cheaper, faster, better. So if you want to grow faster, you potentially can't.
I know that you said lifetime value is an important one to look at, but I think something else for MSPs to consider is if you're looking at your cost of acquisition and you're saying, wow, this is going down, so then I can step on the gas and acquire more. Keep in mind that service delivery also needs to get boosted. If you're acquiring more customers, that's a lot of onboarding for an MSP. So make sure that if you're putting the foot on the gas for marketing, also make that additional investment on your service team. And if you're large enough that maybe you have a specific group of people for onboarding, invest in another 2-3 people before you say, let's spend an extra 10, 20 grand on marketing every month so we can really kick this in overdrive.
That's a great point. And if you're doing this right, what you would see in the metrics is your lifetime value is based on kind of an expected lifespan of a customer. And if you're adding more customers faster, but you're getting a higher turnover rate because you're providing less service, right? You're not doing your job as well. Your lifetime value is going to start to drop because your customer retention is being affected. So that's going to affect that ratio of cost customer acquisition and lifetime value. And you should see that in those charts if you're doing these things right. And do keep in mind, like leading versus lagging metrics, these are lagging metrics that you're going to see after the fact. So if you're trying to steer your business in real time with these, there's a delay, especially when it comes to like customer retention and these sorts of things. Like, you need to be ahead of the quality of service and customer service and finding that sweet spot of how many headcount you need, how you handle onboarding, all of these sorts of parts and pieces.
Thanks for your valuable insights, Vince. I really appreciate you being my guest and educating my followers. We've all been there. The phone rings, your largest client is on the line, totally panicked. Their CEO spilled coffee all over her laptop and it's completely dead. Everything she needed for her investor presentation tomorrow was on that laptop. There's nothing more heart-stopping than losing business-critical data. Whether you get hit with ransomware, hardware failure, or human error, data loss can be a business-ending event. Backups are your final stand when a threat penetrates your layers of defense. That's where Comet Backup comes in. Comet is a secure, reliable backup solution designed specifically for MSPs. Protect computers, servers, virtual environments, emails, and databases. You choose where the data is stored. Backup to local on-prem storage or any of the leading cloud providers to slash your storage costs. Comet grows with your business with scalable per-device pricing. Test drive Comet Backup with a 30-day free trial. Get $50 free credit when you sign up with the promo code RocketMSP. Start running backups in 15 minutes or less at cometbackup.com. Comet Backup, the backup solution that MSPs trust.